Guys, we found a couple more saws. Picked these up. It's been a couple days at least. Went and picked them up. Seen them on Marketplace, and guy had them. This one is, haven't looked at them yet. The only thing I looked at them when he had them and made sure they turned over. This one is Poulan Pro. Get this out of the way. Poulan Pro 220, 38cc, and the other one's I believe a Craftsman. Said neither one of them has been started in at least 10 years, so this ought to be interesting. So we'll take and the chain spins. It's definitely dried up and gummy on the chain, but we'll see. I think it's probably going to need a primer. I mean, it goes down, but it's real sluggish on coming back up. So we'll get her apart, take a look under the cover and see what we got. And 10 years is quite a while. Bad part of buying them like this without checking them out. You never even know if they got anything under the cap, you know. Just got to take their word for it. No filters in it. That's a plus. So, I can't see much, so before I take the side cover off, out of curiosity, we'll see if it has any spark. Hopefully. Doesn't look too bad. Turn over a little rough. You can tell it's been setting. See what we got for spark. Yep, she's on. Hey, it's definitely got spark, so that's a good thing. So with that, we'll get the side cover off. I'll probably take the bar off of it and the chain. Get the plastic off the back so we can look into it real good and see if we need fuel lines. Probably replace the primer. The lines are probably going to need replaced, but we'll get it apart and take a look at it and see what we got. Alright, so first problem so far is acts like the coil's out of alignment. I'm surprised we had any spark. You know how you got on the top of the flywheel, you got your metal, well they're magnetic and it spins around, hits your coil, it's probably the charge for the spark plug. And at first when you turned it, it felt like something wasn't like at the bottom of the rod at the bearing, you know, like if something was just out of whack, like it had a real tight spot. But it's actually, you feel it right there, it's like it's right up dead against the coil, and you can see, I'll show you the funk that's all over this thing. Top of the flywheel right there. See how black, oily. If you guys can see how bad it actually rubbed on that or not. But it's definitely rubbing. You can see how free it is until you spin around, catches the coil, and it stops. You can actually feel it when you're spinning it. It's definitely biting on it. So the coil is definitely going to need adjustment. Back it up a little bit. The carb, actually I took the top off the carb. It's actually in pretty good shape. It's pretty clean. The lines are shot naturally, but as far as the carb's concerned, carb isn't super well. Here it goes, lines just broke. These lines are just shot, which, you know, I was expecting that right off the bat, but the inside of the carb around the screen and all that looks pretty clean to me. So definitely have to put lines in it. But as far as down here where the flywheel is, it's where a lot of people, when you don't, the biggest problem I ran into them is with these Poulans is you get all that buildup, and it builds up around the coil there. You can see how built up and nasty this is. I mean, it's just stuff everywhere, and you get that all built up and it gets around that coil and it creates heat, and you create heat on that coil, you can start creating your own problems. So I always tell everybody to, you know, keep the maintenance up on your equipment, and you want to keep, well, you can see here, this is along the bottom of the coil. You want to keep that kind of, try to keep that kind of stuff out of your saw. I mean, it's nothing to clean them. I mean, your side pops right off. You can just blow it out or wipe it out or whatever have you, because that stuff will build up in there. And it's got that like bar oil on it and everything. It'll cake in there, and it gets caked in there, and it works like insulation. And you know, you build up that heat, the air can't circulate like it should, so you're getting all that heat in there, and you're going to wear your coil out. It all runs hot, and you can start getting sporadic fires out of it. It's, you know, it's, you're just creating your own problem letting that coil get hot. And the other issue with this, and this is one part of the design of this Poulan that I don't like, is the muffler, the exhaust setup on it. This style muffler comes apart really easy. It's a two-piece, pops apart. And the problem with this one, I mean, the spark arrestor and everything in it's good, but the problem with it is, here's the exhaust for the saw. Like after it chambers through everything, it comes out on the back side of the muffler, so it's sitting like this. If you guys can see that, but it sits, when it's set straight on like that, how it should mount, all your exhaust, all your heat's coming out the back side of this muffler, and it's blowing it across the, you know, the front of your saw right here, and you're creating heat that you don't need. And you get better flow. You know, if it was coming out the front, then you know, if it's sitting like this, you got, you know, your exhaust coming out the front, then, you know, all that heat's escaping. So with this design, it's just blowing across the front, you know, the front of the motor. So it's, to me, it's, you know, I don't know what they was thinking when they created that, but I don't know, maybe noise reduction or something, I don't know, but so we'll definitely address that. And before I can do anything with this, well, you can see here, here's the plate, the heat shield that goes up on it. It sits like this here. You can see it sits like that, and the muffler sits in front. You can see where the saw has been used, and all that heat from that exhaust, where it blows across it there, and it's just creating, you know, it's aluminum, but it's building up heat, so heat from this will transfer to that, and it's, you know, so a lot of people complain about these Poulans getting hot, and once they, you know, they get hot and they don't want to start back up. Well, when you got something like that and it's blowing heat back into the motor or towards the motor, then you got somebody that doesn't take care of their saw, and you got all this up in here, you know, you're getting sporadic spark out of it. So you're, you know, it's keeping them clean is one of the main things. And then that muffler, I don't know what they was thinking when they designed that, but we'll deal with that. We'll try to get something situated where it flows better. But before I can really do anything to this, I'm going to have to get it cleaned up. This thing is just caked and just old sawdust, bar oil, and it's a hot mess. So I'm going to have to get it cleaned up just before I can even, there's so much stuff down in there. I don't even want to try to put the fuel lines in yet. I'm afraid I'll get stuff down into the tank, so I'm going to do what I can to get this cleaned up first. So let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll take a good look at it. Alright, we've got the fuel system back together. Wasn't too bad. This is why I buy the 5 packs of these. Got my dad's wood shark. It took this style. This last video we just done. This one takes this style, and I'm pretty sure this old Craftsman I got when I picked this one up, I'm pretty sure it has the same style primer. The line I used on it was the last HIPAA kit I bought. Had extra fuel line because they send you so much extra fuel line that, you know, I had enough left over to do this. So it wasn't bad. You just got your 2 Phillips screws, comes out, you know, we put new lines in it. And the coil, got it adjusted. It was actually, one of the screws was actually loose. So I got all that cleaned up, all that crap out of there. And did lube up. Let's see if you can hear it. Yeah. You can hear it now. It's the where it's set for. That guy said 10 years. The cylinder was real dry, so we put a little bit of 2-cycle oil in there, and then with the carb off, when the piston comes up, you have a gap, and that gap will let you get some oil down into to the intake side of it to get down. You get down around that bearing, and so dropped a little bit of oil down in there, so it all got lubed up. Spun it around a little bit, you know, try to get everything lubed up real good, and so we got new lines, filter, primer. The screen on the top of the carb was clean. Got the coil adjusted, so we're not far from being able to see if this thing will start up. You can see where show you. You can see this if you look right here. That's a burn mark from the way the Poulan has the exhaust, the way they have it set up to where it blows out the side right there. You know, you get all that heat builds up, the muffler's hot, and it's starting to melt the plastic. So we still got to do something to address the exhaust situation on it. But it's not far from being able to fire it up. I'll be able to get, it still definitely needs cleaned up some, but I got the majority of all the garbage away from the coil, away from the flywheel, got the other side, and but trust me, it definitely still needs some cleaning. And because I couldn't go into it to death because I was using Dawn dishwashing liquid and, you know, hot water, scrubbing it down. I didn't want to get anything inside the cylinder, so we get it all together. I don't know, I might end up having to get some carb cleaner or brake cleaner or something and just give it a real good spray down. This thing is just like caked. So now I'm going to get the plastics back on it and see what I can do for this muffler. Alright, here we go, fellas. I got the muffler figured out. It's been a couple days since I've messed with this saw. But finally figured out which way to go with the muffler. And when that muffler's sitting in here, this here is your heat shield. Now this hump right here, that's where your coil is at. Your coil is right on the other side of that plastic. That's what I was saying with the way this muffler is designed. It builds up heat, and the heat it's just so bad for the coil. I mean, it can cause serious issues, and you can see on the inside right here, mainly here, but where the heat, that's all burn marks on the plastic from the muffler where it's creating so much heat on this side of the chainsaw. And so I'll show you what I did. Easiest way to do it, and because a lot of this stuff, as you know, I try to do stuff that's easy to do at home. You know, so you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money buying muffler mods, you know, and stuff like that. So this one was real easy. The way it was set up was your muffler. It's a 2-piece design. Here's the back. This is where the exhaust flow was coming out. It was through these 2 slots right here, these 2 openings, and it's set like that. So it's blowing all your exhaust against the inside, you know, behind the muffler against the plastic. So it's building up all that heat. So all that heat builds up behind the muffler, creates too much heat, and so you know you're cooking that coil. That plastic gets hot, coil's on the other side, and it's just too much heat. Wear your coil out too quick. So all I done was took with these 2, popped it apart. You can stick a screwdriver in there through this hole on this side and smack it, and this side will pop off, you know, open it up for you. So I took and filled those 2 JB Weld the quick-set JB weld. It was like $6 at Walmart. And filled them up. Took the front. And I had a couple of these tubes. These are from a couple of the other Poulans we was working on, and knocked those out of the mufflers, just to open them up. So I took one of those. This was closed in the front, and drilled it out. Then got my Dremel out and just kept, you know, eating it away at it real small. I didn't have a drill bit the same exact size as this, and just, you know, just opened it up some, and then to where I could get this to slide through. Once I slid it through, just cut the end of it off so it wasn't just that little hole on the end, and shortened it up a little bit so I didn't have to worry about it hitting the back side of the muffler when it's assembled. So that's the easiest way I found to do it, but I've done it the same way. You can see it on there. I put some JB weld on it, slid it through. Then when I got it through, I put some on the inside just to, you know, make sure it holds. So it's all JB welded in place. Do a little bit of fresh heat paint on it, and it slides back together. There's your screen and your baffle and everything. It's only got holes on one side. It's usually facing up. It goes, you know, straight in like that with your holes facing up to feed out the back of the muffler against the saw. But since I put that one in, because on the bottom it doesn't have any holes, it's just blocked off. So when I stick it in, I'm going to stick it in upside down so it has the holes facing straight, you know, going straight down. Since the hole, you know, the exit hole for the muffler is on the bottom, so it'll blow it straight down and towards this hole. So I'm going to leave the baffle in it, spark screen on it, and I'm going to throw all this together, and then I think it's ready to take it outside and see if she'll fire up. So I'll get this together and we'll take it outside and see what happens. Alright guys, here we go. Got the fuel in it. I haven't tried priming it yet. So, about to do that. There we go. She's sucking up. 3, 4, 5. Give her a few shots. It's on. Give her some choke. Take that choke off. This is the one, I think I mentioned earlier in the video, it was I felt like it was real hard to pull, so we oiled the bottom of the, you know, oiled the cylinder up and everything, make sure everything was in good shape. So it's probably going to smoke like a train once we first get it going. Hey! Wow, that smells bad. Come on, girl. She's trying. Touch of fuel. It's awful easy to pull. I think our choke lever might have came unhooked. Alright, let's check it real quick. This saw, it was so very neglected. Previous owner definitely didn't take care of it like they should have. The other saw I've got from them I haven't even messed with yet, so I'm hoping it's not as bad as this one. Choke's still hooked up. Try giving her some fresh air, see if that helps. She's trying. Of course, we don't even know if the carb's any good. All we done was took the top off and it was clean, so the lower diaphragm could be bad. Yep. Looks like we're done now, fellas. Cord came straight out. Well, the good thing about it is at least it did start and run a little bit. And I guess in spare time I'll get that cord fixed and we'll be back at it. And but at least it did try to run, but it's going to smoke once we get it fired up and running like it should. Hopefully the carburetor's good, but if more oiled the cylinder down to try to free it up because it was real hard to pull. And got some 2-cycle down into the bottom, and you know, just to lube everything up because it set so long and it was in rough shape. As you can see, it's still kind of dirty. You can see where it was puking some out of the exhaust right there. There's a lot of that 2-cycle that I put in it. So she's definitely going to smoke like a train when she fires up and runs. But anyway, I'll leave it with that because this video is probably going to be super long. But I'll leave it with that, and then we'll get this rope fixed and try it again. It looks like I lost round 1 for this thing. But we won't give up on it. I'll see how much a carb kit is. No matter what I do, it excuse me, it prime it with well, the primer doesn't really seem to be working. You prime it down through the carb, fire up, run the fuel out and die. And so I know the top of the carb is green and was clean and all that, but there could be an issue in the bottom with the diaphragm or the needle or, you know, whatever have you. So have to get the carb back off, take a look at it, see what we can figure out, and we definitely won't give up on it. It should be a good saw. It's just been used and abused, and you know, it's a shame. You know, people don't take care of their tools like they should, and it's kind of what you end up with. I mean, it's good for me. I end up getting them cheap, but bad for them because, you know, they don't take care of them. They're the ones that end up going out and spending however much on a new one, and they don't need to. But so we'll get online and see how much a carb kit and all that is, and we either do some gaskets or just replace the whole carb, one or the other. And I mean, it's got plenty of compression, it's got good spark, so we replaced the lines on it. The fuel filter's been replaced, the primer. It tried to run, it keeps trying to run, but it's just like it's not drawing gas up through the carb. And so we'll address that when I get a chance. It might be another week or so before I get a chance to mess with this one, so I'll just go ahead and post this video. And the main thing now is I got at least one day this week coming up. It's nice weather, so mess with those trucks a little bit. And but I got, well, this saw I still need to finish, and I think 3 other chainsaws and a blower and a couple weed eaters and some stuff to do for a friend of mine. So I mean, we'll have some more videos coming up with 2-cycle stuff, and as long as we have the good weather, we'll have some videos coming up with these trucks. So just kind of hold tight, and we'll get some stuff out there for you guys to watch. But this one's the Poulan Pro 220 38cc from 2002. She's got some years on it, and it's definitely been neglected. So see what we can do. We'll get it going one way or another. All right, guys, thanks for watching.